raising awareness through every track. All-Star PD Sportscast on the rise, shouting loud, reaching the skies. Can't stop, won't stop, our game is strong, fighting Parkinson's all day long.
Hello, Dwayne Johnson, better known as The Rock here, coming at you. Please follow my buddies Tim and George as they host the All-Star PD Sportscast. We are here to talk about Parkinson's in the world of wrestling. So let's see what these two jabronis are cooking.
Welcome everyone back to a new episode of All-Star PD Sportscast. I'm so excited to be back with you, Tim, my really brother in this advocacy, but I look forward to these shows. We have one a month, but it feels like eternity waiting for the next one. Here with my co-host, Tim from MYPDPARTY. I'm Sharon's son, George, and here we discuss the world of sports and slowing the progression of Parkinson's disease, but so much new has happened since we last met, and today's a really exciting topic, and you can see him representing Hulkamania out there. You too. Welcome, Tim, and I'm going to throw the show to you to start us off.
Hello, my brother. How are you doing? What is shaking? So I didn't even tell you this, but I'm going to introduce, for the first time ever on our show, the championship belt of advocating, since we are champions of advocating. So look at you. Great minds think alike, brother. So be doing this. I mean, listen, when we talked about wrestling, I knew we would have fun with this today, so I'm glad we're matching a little bit. I mean, I got the dark beard, so I guess I'm more of a Hollywood Hulk Hogan type of guy, but away we go.
We also have a special guest, and we invite him, the real one, but look at this. He doesn't work anymore. When I was a kid growing up, this was like one of those ones you could actually punch and beat up, and they have the commercials, but he's not working. It's been so long. But Hulk Hogan's with us, and if he's listening, we shout out to him, and hope he comes on the show in the future. But today's we have fun, but it's also not always a fun topic because it's something that we means a lot to both of us. Obviously, you're still battling Parkinson's, and our viewers and everyone out there, sports fans, we have to find a cure. But until that day, we're all working very hard to help slow the progression for now, so we can all have more fun times together.
Yep, this is true. I mean, listen, when I know we wanted to tackle every sport, and we will. I was pretty hard pressed to find where there was going to be an outlet to talk positively about wrestling world, because I think there's probably more negative connotation to it as far as head injuries and CTE and not so much positivity when it comes to this sport. But I mean, listen, anything that gets you out and active is always a good thing. But I mean, listen, we'll have fun with this, and we'll talk a little bit about wrestling and one of the wrestlers of multi wrestlers that are affected, and we'll put some positive spins on it and have some fun.
Yeah, so much to talk about, so much new, and the new book that just came out, which you're actually in, and we have about 21 writers, and every one of them I think will have a place on our show eventually. That's why it's a great show, because not just it's our show, but it really never runs out, because even when you cover like wrestling, there's still a new thing that might pop up in a year or two, and then we can cover it again. So we really just hope everyone out there supports the show. I'm going to leave Hulk with us. I had the honor to meet him. We'll talk later about it. When Ric Flair together, they were older, but it was such a cool thing to be able to, meet some of the people we grew up with. And remember as a kid, and we'll talk again later, being in New Jersey at Trump Plaza back then when no one cared about politics. But we got to see Randy Macho Man Savage, Ultimate Warrior, and Hogan all in the main event. That was
Awesome.
it was a family thing. That's the one thing wrestling. Remember when we moved to Florida from New York, I took my wife. She was kind of scared because you always think these fans are rowdy, and we actually saw such a family-oriented event. Everybody's so nice to each other. There was nothing violent. It was just different than what you kind of think about.
That's what you hope for. I mean, it should be like that. It should be a fun time for the family. I mean, and again, that's one of the positive. And I'll say that. I mean, I know I'm jumping the gun a little bit as far as the order of what we're talking about, but that, in my opinion, is one of the positive things that I did find. I mean, listen, when you were growing up, I mean, it was fun to watch. I mean, and anybody who watches the show knows I'm very big on the mental aspect of trying to beat this and keeping your head on right. And listen, for men and even women, I don't think there's anything wrong with getting a hobby to take your mind off your disease. And there's nothing wrong with watching wrestling. I've always looked at it like it's a soap opera for men. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's a positive spin to put on it.
I do have to warn you, one time we went, because we did go a lot. We were in the restroom. It was the oddest thing. And for some reason, Fit Finley in one of the matches ended up in the bathroom that we were in. So I'm in the bathroom. We won't get too graphic because this is for kids to show.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, I hear some rowdy stuff and people flying through the stalls, and I'm like, "This is." And then we ran out of there for our lives. But it's like you never know what to expect, just like life and
Easy, man.
Parkinson's.
Unbelievable.
We're going to leave Hulk here. I don't know how long he's going to last. But he's getting along. But we're going to get right now to some of the most important topics. I'm going to share a few things. And like Tim said, we don't wing it, but we do like to be spontaneous because that's what the show's about. First, I do want to bring everyone's attention to thank you all for your support. We've now have a real website from link to togetherforsharon.com, but this is all just about our show. If you go to togetherforsharon.com, click podcast, you'll scroll down right here. It's I think it's beautiful and it's pretty amazing because here you'll see Tim and I and all our shows from the first day all the way down. We're at like number 10 now. It's just incredible how time goes. And someday we'll have 100 shows and we've covered so many great topics and people. And we just thank everyone listening. Please share the show. We don't accept anything but that you're not alone in this fight. Next thing is something we'll leave for the end, but this is where I wanted to also touch on with Tim today. Before we get to this legend, I did do a little research. I didn't have as much time because of computer issues, but I did find that actually a friend of mine, he's out there, he knows who he is, but he actually runs one of the American Parkinson's Disease Association divisions. And he'll be on my show soon. But they actually teamed up with the Wrestling Federation, and he was there at an event. So it's nice to see the Parkinson's community here. You can see this is back in 2023. Teamed up. They had a whole event with all different WWE stars. Mark Henry, who we know, and Dean was there. I wish we could get a hold of him. I did reach out, but we haven't heard back. But it's definitely something important, a topic that's out there, and as early as 2023. And also, I did do a little research before the computer crash, and as Tim mentioned, some wrestlers have reported Parkinson's disease later in life. There's no definitive link yet between wrestling, but because of what Tim also mentioned, the boxing, the exercise, and the repeated hitting your head on the mat, there have been some types of areas or talking about this topic. So that's why the show is great, because it's really important to just bring awareness.
Yeah, and here's what I would say too. A lot of people, especially when we were growing up, a lot of people use the term fake when they talk about wrestling.
Yeah.
I think that is a huge mistake. I do not think it's fake at all. I would say it's scripted, but these guys put their lives on the line for our entertainment. I mean, that's really what it all boils down to. It's probably the most intense and roughest sport of anything that they could do. So to call it fake, I think is doing it a disservice. Like I said, these guys for our entertainment, put their bodies in, and obviously health on the line. And I know we were talking about Dean Malenko, probably one of the more famous wrestlers that's come out. I reached out to his wife as well. I'm going to see what I can do to get him on here with us. His schedule's crazy because he still works for not WWE, but I think AEW, doing a lot of backstage and writing stuff. But basically, he's done so many interviews about how he was trying to hide his symptoms. And basically, the way he came out was, I read a story about he came out to do like a promo in front of 30,000 people. And his hand started shaking on the microphone, and he said, "Damn Parkinson's." He was talking to himself, and people started questioning him about it. But I'm just going to read a little excerpt from this interview with him, just to put light on it and how you got to think of things in a positive spin. And it's hard to describe what Parkinson's is. So Dean Malenko had said, "I compare Parkinson's like having a roommate that never leaves, because every morning he's there and you wake up and he's this other person that's with you. He's either going to let you out of bed easily or he's not. He might make you shake. He might make you take control of your body. So that could be a little crazy at times, but I'm getting kind of used to it. But the biggest thing is we just have to laugh things off." It's like that. I think that's very well said. I mean, you don't know what to expect when, like me, I'll even take it further. It's not even day by day. It's hour to hour. You don't know what to expect. So to keep your own sanity, sometimes you just got to keep your wits about you. And he's right. Like, make light of it and don't waste time dwelling on it. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but I think to put a positive spin on it, and that's really the way to go. I mean, I think that's very well said by Dean.
Yeah, I like a lot. I remember as a kid at WCW, when it was around, was when I really followed him, and was one of the leading wrestlers out there, headliner. And again, I hope we could reach him sometime. I think he's the kind of guy who down to earth and would do the show. So we just reach him. there's a few more facts. So we looked up wrestling and Parkinson's. Again, there's no evidence right now, but I still think in research, and we address it in the book that just came out, has to still be looked at. Might not occur while they're wrestling, but later in life, you can see it's occurring. It's vigorous exercise, like Tim said. Also, you could do this exercise. I wouldn't recommend the punching each other, but that's why I love rock steady boxing, because it's, you're not getting punched back in the face. That's another world. But, boxing, exercise, Tai Chi, caregiving also in wrestling, it becomes like a family event. When I was a kid, it was the whole family who attended the matches. So it was a lot of fun. And again, it's a topic that I think is something that needs to be discussed and something that's really important. So appreciate you again always meeting with me and talking about these areas. And you don't think of wrestling a lot because we're not out there professional wrestling, but it does affect regular people too. And he's one of the more famous ones, but imagine how many people in the WWE could bring awareness if they were more aware. So thanks again for that topic.
And I'll say something else too, and I'll kind of put something up there in editing because I think I'm kind of throwing this on you last minute. But when again, it was kind of tough to find positive spins to put on the world of wrestling as far as how could it positively affect Parkinson's. There is a wrestler, and you might remember him, his name is Dallas Diamond Page.
We met him.
I think it's also important to see what some of these guys do after the fact. I believe it's called DDP yoga that he started. He started, which again, yoga, it could be huge for people with Parkinson's. I do it. I mean, and he also posts positive messages every day. I could be wrong about this, but there was another wrestler called Lex Luger that was wheelchair, and he started working with DDP, doing DDP yoga, and he just got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, and he stood up and walked to the microphone. You can't underestimate the power of a positive mindset and just a little. I mean, not everybody has to go out running marathons and lifting weights, so, especially with Parkinson's. It's the flexibility. So I would look into yoga. I mean, I would definitely look into the DDP yoga. He seems to have a lot of success stories. So that, again, just another positive spin to put on some of these wrestlers that put their lives on the line for our entertainment.
No, I appreciate it, and it's just important, I think, to cover every topic. Wrestling again was more fun. Not that the others aren't fun, but it's another sport that I think that people aren't aware. If it's not you affecting you personally, it's still important to understand why it's affecting other people who are doing the sport. We've done a lot of research in this new book. Maybe I could touch on for a moment. And there were topics in the back which we didn't cover, but because I felt there still needs to be research on them. Football is one example. We've had the honor to talk about football. I'm still trying to work on a legend to come on. I'm not giving up on him, but it shows that football might be a cause of not slowing the progression, but increasing it for Parkinson's, like Brett Favre and Bernie Kosar. So there are sports we talk about on the show that are not always positive, but I think you have to still discuss them to see, what the reasoning is behind it. On that note, if you're okay with it, I just want to announce something pretty big, and that's the book. We didn't get a chance to talk about last time because I didn't have the cover, so it kind of went quickly, and now we're actually honored to be able to show it. This is the actual book, so it's here. It came out really better than I ever dreamed. It was a project that I thought about for a few years, and it's very different than other exercise books because this is where we brought 21 writers together who all have Parkinson's. Some are advocates, but they tell their journey. So each section has 3 parts: their journey individually, they name a sport, and then how it slowed the progression of Parkinson's for them. No offense to the others out there, there's a lot of books on sports and exercise. It might be more from a doctor's perspective or medical. We didn't want that. We wanted from the real people battling and to show real results. Just incredible, some of the stories. We have Todd Voigt, who will be on our show. I believe he was in the Paralympics. He does rowing. We have Gina, who was on our show last time, pickleball women's champion who doesn't have PD, but is trying hard to bring awareness because pickleball has been huge for the Parkinson's community. And of course, on the last note, because I don't want to take too much time, something that meant a lot to me, if I could find it, of course, now, is our show. So if I could find here, see, and we're a shout out to Tim in the book, is I think that this show it needs to be something else. It's the only show in the world, in my opinion. Still, I always challenge everyone to write me if I'm wrong, send in the hate mail or the love mail. But I haven't seen a show dedicated just to sports, showing the progression. So this book kind of goes along with our show really well. But there's still obviously a lot to talk about, a lot to come. But I appreciate Tim's support, and well, I'm glad he's in it because I wouldn't be able to do the show without you. So.
And honestly, my brother, a huge congratulations to you. It is such an honor to do this with you. To see all of that you do for this community is amazing. And like you said, this is something different. This is not you as an expert telling people how to exercise. I have always felt since I've been diagnosed that I've gotten more information from the people that have it than I've ever gotten from a neurologist or a physical therapist. Not to say they don't help, but this is a kind of a funky disease where unless you're going through it, it's tough to describe and explain. So you putting this together with basically people's stories that are affected and how they go about their daily life. I mean, I think it's huge. I agree. It's a completely different book. I'm so proud to be doing this with you, this show, and to call you my brother. And a huge congratulations. I'm so proud of you.
I appreciate it. And the other great news, if everyone goes to Together for Sharon, you can click here. You can click to the bottom, sports, or even shop. You can order a copy. All the money's going to all the people in the book. But the nice thing is, it's dedicated memory of my mother. But you can look up the table of contents. You'll see all the different writers. We have Steve. We have chiropractors, people around the world from Parkinson's UK. We have every sport. We covered skiing, swimming, tennis, walking, water aerobics, yoga. We even have a section for physical therapy. We have a section for the need for more sports like wrestling. And then we got lucky because some of the beautiful endorsements came. We even have Jimmy Cho, the legend. He endorsed the book. Ryan Cotton is someone I look up to. I think we'll probably have him on our show. He's a CEO of actually Rock City Boxing. He's on the cover of our book. If we could get this book into every rock steady in the country, it'll change the world for a lot of people. We also have the National Institute for Sports and Fitness. A few people here. Michael was on our show, the former CEO of HBO Golf,
Great job.
and John Lear, the Parkinson's Foundation CEO. So we have a lot of, and Sarah Whitting, I don't know if you know her, she's amazing. She's a medical doctor, but also a veteran. She's incredible. She'll come on the show. Then it goes through all the biographies of all the different writers. And finally, at the end, we have, we covered a lot of sports, and that's Todd. I think you would love Todd. He's a great guy. So if you have time, everyone, you click shop, or you can click on the link I provided, and then you just go down here, and it's pretty reasonable. We made it as low as we can. And again, all this will go to the writers and Parkinson's awareness. As everyone knows, I probably donated 50,000 or more last year just from our family to the cause, and we won't accept anything in return except no one's alone. And also, we want to cure. But until that day comes, we have to keep this up. We have to keep awareness. And I'm just lucky that somehow on an Instagram day, dark, shady weather day here, but a beautiful light lit up on the Instagram. And I saw this gentleman named Tim, and I decided to reach out. He responded, and the rest is really history. It's really amazing when you kind of look back at time and how quickly it goes, but how amazing, inspirational, things happen. And there's a reason for everything.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, there's a reason our worlds collided here, and we came together, and it's for such a great cause. But before we wrap this up, I got to ask you, tell me your favorite wrestling story as a kid. Who was your favorite wrestler?
I mean, even today it's Hulk Hogan, just because growing up, I was younger. We watched Andre the Giant. I think I was around with first WrestleMania, which was kind of sad in a way.
I remember.
It's like outdating us. Vince McMahon was still young, like just an announcer. And my best story is I used to collect the toys.
Me too.
I had everyone. It was almost not normal. Unfortunately, after many years, they kind of melt and fall apart, and I'm sad. But I still have the Hulk Hogan. But I had like 300. My mother spoiled me, and she was amazing. We had the ring, and then I used to hate if you hit them together, the pain would come off, and then you ruined it. So that was my really favorite memory because I loved just kind of reliving them in your own little world, and it was safe. It was fun. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's bad stuff too that came from wrestling. As an attorney, I was actually in court with the judge Lazarus in Broward County with the famous Lionel Tate case where the
Uh,
boy did the rock bottom and killed the neighbor. So it's like, it's good and bad, but try to remember the good and don't try these things at home, everybody.
and listen, I'm sure if you really want, there's somebody out there on eBay that's got those toys we could get.
Yeah. Now my wife will throw them out. So, but yeah, but again, I think today was a great topic,
Yeah.
important, and one that again will live on. And we're gonna tag all these great people like Ric Flair, and maybe you could share a little story and then a quote, because I like to always hear some powerful motivation before we kind of wrap up. And then next month we'll be right back at you, everyone, again with another sport and slowing the progression. But feel free to write into Tim or me. We love hearing comments. If you love the show, if you don't like it, we'll work on it. But we really, this can only be possible with all of you. I have another show, but to be honest, I love that show. But when I'm with Tim, it's a lot more fun, and we do really work well, I think, together. So, but we need everybody out there to also join in, share the show, go to my PD party, go to Together for Sharon, and again, we're all family in this fight.
Here's what I would say. People don't realize what a great host you are, and you're almost like Barbara Walters, because every week, every time you try and pull at my heartstrings when asking me a question. My favorite wrestler, I always was drawn to people with gimmicks. Jake the Snake because of the snake. Coco Beware had the parrot. But I lost my dad at a very young age. But one of the greatest memories I have of him and I was we would always go to the barbershop every Saturday morning, Frank's Barbershop in Bayonne, New Jersey, and we would always have wrestling on. And it was just a fun time that he and I had together. And my world blew up when one of my favorite wrestlers, Brutus Beefcake, who used to wear those really crazy weightlifting pants, changed his name to Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And it was almost like a sign from God. It was like, Dad, I'm at the barbershop watching wrestling with you every weekend. Now there's a guy, my favorite wrestler, he's called himself the Barber. He had to be my favorite. I thought he was one of the coolest wrestlers. I think he was actually real life friends with Hulk Hogan. Because at one time we went to, when I was a kid, I'll never forget this. We went to the Meadowlands. It was called the Brendan Burns Arena, and we actually were sitting behind. I call him Terry because his real name is Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan, but his wife and Brutus the Barber Beefcake's wife were behind us, and she actually got us to go back by the stage and got me all kinds of autographs, and it was the coolest thing ever. So to me, that was my favorite wrestler.
Actually, he was mine too, Brutus B. I loved him. He was like he's actually a nice guy, and I think he would probably come on the show. I didn't think of it, but he responded once a while ago. He's still on.
We'll work on him. Listen, it's the second go around. We're going to have some major people here. When I was trying to think of how to close the show, I mean, I guess it would have been too easy to just say your prayers and eat your vitamins. We all know that as Hulkamaniacs. But I did find one from John Cena, of all people, more recent. The only person you should try to be better than is the person you were yesterday. I think that applies to everybody in life, but especially with Parkinson's. Listen, you're going to have rough days. You're going to have better days. Just try and make tomorrow better than today was. Just because you're having what I'll call an off day, an off period today, doesn't mean that you can't be on tomorrow. So to put it in PD perspective, just try and make tomorrow better than today was. That's really all you can do. Try and keep a positive mind frame.
I love it. No better way to end the show. I don't want it to end because it's been a great one. I also want to credit Tim for our beautiful ring today. It was not easy to move it in. We had a whole crew. They had to assemble it. It'll take some time to disassemble the beautiful ring, and we're not going to demonstrate because we'll probably hurt ourselves.
We'll call the roadies for that. Don't worry about it.
So I do have more, but I always say to be continued because we could probably go on for hours, and then we'll be ready for the next show. So anyway, this has been another episode of All Star PD Sportscast with me, Sharon and George, my co-host Tim. Please follow him at MyPDPARTY on all different social media, especially Instagram, where we discuss the world of sports, slowing the progression of Parkinson's, and really we do this not just for us, but for all of you, and to realize that if you don't like one sport, don't give up. There's still so many others out there. Feel free to pick up the book. You'll learn a lot. Again, all the money goes to those writers, and really we're just out here for you. We're with you, and we'll always fight by your side till there's a cure. But until the cure is at everybody's doorsteps around the world, we have to be side by side in this. We have to gain more awareness. Breaks my heart some days when we keep trying, but I don't feel like I'm reaching enough people. But then when we join voices, I do feel like we're getting the job done. Thanks, Tim, again. Thank you all. We love you. Please share this and we'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Nice.